Good morning. This is RCB News, and I am Ryan Bolin. I want to get right down to the news at hand. I was reading an article on Trending Politics, an online conservative news site, that stated that Kamala Harris gave a speech in reference to a campaigning tactic that she's going to be initiating during prior to the November election. And when I read this article, it was just cringy as what? I'm saying, oh my goodness, this is just crazy. But I'm going to read a portion of this article. And then I'm going to give my spin, my opinion on it, and tell you what I think that she's trying to do, and as well as the Democrats are trying to do, especially when it comes to religion. And the title of the article is, Wow, Kamala Harris illegally intervenes in Virginia governor race. Here's what we know. In the midst of the hotly contested Virginia governor race, the Democrats have decided that they want to blatantly break the law in order to win. I mean, why not? Now, this is kind of like an opinion piece, but he does give objective news, so that's what we're going to focus on. They have total power in Congress, so who would, quote, prosecute them? According to WTOP News, more than 300 black churches. I want to emphasize that 300 black churches. And when I'm through reading this, I'm going to give you my opinion on this whole idea. More than 300 black churches across Virginia will hear from Vice President Kamala Harris between Sunday and Election Day in a video message that will air during morning services as part of an outreach effort aimed to boost McElligott. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I believe that my friend Terry McElligott is the leader Virginia needs at this moment, says Harris in the cringe video. She then praises McElligott's, quote, long track record of getting things done for the people of Virginia, end quote. This message will be played before every church service through early November. In case you were wondering, the answer is yes, this is illegal. Now, here, the writer of this article copies down a section of the IRS website's reference to this type of illegal activity. And it says, the ban on political campaign activity by charities and churches was created by Congress more than a half century ago. That's true. The Internal Revenue Service administers the tax laws written by Congress and has enforced authority over tax-exempt organizations. Here is some background information on the political campaign activity ban and the latest IRS enforcement statistics regarding its administration of this congressional ban. Currently, the law prohibits political campaign activity by charities and churches by defining a 501c3 organization as one which does not participate in or intervene in, including the publishing or distribution of statements, any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for public office, end quote. And I'm going to let you listen to a portion of this video of Kamala Harris, and it is cringy. I'm just going to let you hear a portion of it. I'm going to try to hear some of this if you haven't heard it.
We sang hymns about how faith combined with determination will see us through difficult times. And we were taught that it was our sacred responsibility to raise our voice and lift up the voices of our community. One of the most significant ways I believe that we can each use our voice is through our vote. So Virginians, you have the opportunity now to raise your voice through your vote, because it's election time. As you know, this is an important election coming up on Tuesday, November 2nd, and early voting is already underway. I believe that my friend Terry McAuliffe is the leader Virginia needs at this moment. Terry McAuliffe has a long track record of getting things done for the people of Virginia. When he was governor, in the wake of the recession, you'll remember, he brought 200,000 jobs to Virginia. Incomes went up and unemployment went down in every city and county in the state. And now Terry McAuliffe is stepping up again with a clear vision about how to rebuild Virginia's economy for the future, to raise the minimum wage, to make health care more affordable, to give every child a world-class education. Virginians, you deserve a leader who has a vision of what is possible and the experience to realize that vision. Terry McAuliffe is that leader. In 2020, more Virginians voted than ever before, and because you did, you helped send President Joe Biden and me to the White House. This year, I know that you will send Terry McAuliffe back to Richmond. So early voting has already started, and this is the first year that you can vote on Sundays. So please, vote after today's service. And if you cannot vote today, make a plan to go vote. Go to iwillvote.com.
And that's all they have right there. Okay. Now you heard that, and by the way, there wasn't no deep fake video where they, superimpose someone's image over another person and make it seem like it's the actual person. No, that was actually Kamala Harris giving that address. Now, as it was reading on the IRS website, that is absolutely true. It is illegal for any church to try to campaign on the behalf of any particular political party. We are forbidden to do so. If the church, which has, if it has a 501c3, whatever you want to call that helps them to be tax exempt, they can have that taken from them if they get involved in any type of campaigning for any politician. Now, here is my thing on it. Here's my spin on this. My question would be led to believe is this: why is it that Kamala Harris is doing this in reference to the churches? Why does it say 300 black churches? Why the black churches? I believe the reason why she's doing this, as well as all the other Democrats have been doing, is because black people in the churches, I hate to say, but they're counting on black people's ignorance of the law. They're counting on black people's ignorance of history. She can say these things and know good and well she can get away with it because black people, not all, but a vast majority of black people in general, and particularly in churches, lack knowledge of the law. Even if they know about the so-called 501c3 nonsense, which I personally believe was designed to shut the church up, to silence the church, but that's another story and I digress. Even though they may know about that, they lack knowledge about what it's really all about. They lack knowledge of the history of the Democratic Party and what they have done to black people in general. They can say, Kamala Harris can say things like this because they know they can get away with it because black people, a vast majority of black people are ignorant of history and ignorant of politics. That's why they say it. They make fun of us. They mock us in an indirect way. I'm pretty sure they're laughing their butts off at the ignorance of so many 300 black churches in Virginia. And I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. I live in Cleveland, Ohio, so it don't affect me none. But I had to say something about this because I'm getting leery of all the ignorance of history. It's so sad when I see this type of stuff happening. Here, as I was reading this and as I was thinking about what I was going to say, on this video, what came to my mind was many, many decades ago, there was a lady by the name of Margaret Sangers. Some of you may have heard of her, and I mentioned her name. I mentioned her in a separate video several months ago. Margaret Sangers was a eugenist and a horrible racist from the 1930s. She wrote a book called Pivot of Society. I believe it was called Pivot of Society or Pivot to Society. And in that book, she called black people and minorities weeds because Margaret Sangers believed that minority groups and blacks in particular were a pest. They were like weeds and they needed to be eradicated. She was the founder of Planned Parenthood. And according to historians, she placed most of the Planned Parenthood clinics in black and minority neighborhoods. She believed that one of the most effective ways to decrease the numbers and populations of unwanted and undesirable races and ethnic groups is to kill them off. Abortion was designed by Margaret Sanger. The Planned Parenthood abortion was designed by Margaret Sanger just for that reason. And she would, according to historians, she would go to black churches. She would go to black churches and black pastors and convince the black pastors somehow, some way. I'm assuming she had to give them money. She would convince these black pastors to convince their followers in their congregation to support this abortion mandate, to support this, because it's all about protecting, it's all about health, and it's all about protecting the people, and you're not doing anything wrong. Think about it. She had to go and convince religious leaders in the black community to support this ideology, and to convince and according to the historian said that she went to these black pastors to convince them that this was not an effort to commit genocide, even though it was an effort to commit genocide. The purpose of abortion was designed to destroy the black community, not help the black community. Now you may say, what does that have to do with Kamala Harris and Kamala Harris and what she was saying in the video? It has a lot of ties, because here's another thing too. Some people might not know. Hillary Clinton admired Margaret Sanger. Hillary Clinton was keenly aware of Margaret Sanger's racist ideology and her eugenics background. She was keenly aware of Planned Parenthood and what Margaret Sanger wanted to do with black people. She was keenly aware of it, but she supported her and admired her and actually wrote, I believe, a thesis on her, if I'm correct, when she was in college. Admiring this woman. You admiring a horrible racist she admired. And then in, I think, 2012, I'm showing you the connection with what these Democrats do with black people and black churches in general. Because we're ignorant, man. We lack knowledge. Then in 2012, when Obama was running the second time to be reelected, Biden, his vice president, I believe was in some kind of church. And this was when the Rhino, what's his name? Republican Rhino, I forget his name. Y'all probably remember his name. I forget his name. Mitt Romney. When Mitt Romney was running for president, Biden got up. I think he might have been in a church setting. I don't know. I believe he was in a church setting. Where, I don't remember. It was many, many years ago. And back in those days, I wasn't involved in politics at all. And he got up and said, I'm quoting, "If y'all vote for them, he gonna put y'all back in chains." And the way he said it was a very condescending. It was like he was using a tone like black people would be like, "Yeah, that's right. You talk. He gonna put y'all back in chains," as if black people would be like, "Yeah, you really understand what we mean, man, by talking like that." Instead of talking to black people in a way that is human to human, man to man, woman to woman, he got to use all of these terms and these slang terms. They're going to put you all back in slavery. Number one, that's a lie, because the Democrats that's enslaved black people. So he got right up in the church and lied to all these black people who were ignorant of history. That's why the Democrats do it. And that's why Kamala Harris, in my opinion, is doing what she's doing. 300 black churches. Why are you trying to go to the black churches? Because they're ignorant of history. And also, according to what that article was saying, the commentator said, they're working off our ignorance. They're working off the people's ignorance in general. And they're also working off the fact that even though this is illegal, what she's doing, she knows nobody's going to say anything about it. She knows that nothing's going to happen to her. Nothing's going to happen to Kamala Harris. Nobody. You want to know why? Because people just don't know. They lack knowledge of history. So I wanted to bring that out because that really was irking me. But I'm just going to say this right up front. You know, black people in the church, you need to wake up. Guess what? I'm not mocking anybody. I'm a minister myself. I'm an associate pastor of a church in Cleveland, Ohio. I've been a Christian since I've been 16 years old. Okay. And I'm an ordained elder and an associate pastor in my church. So I know. And if you are a member of a church and you watching this video, and you're a pastor and you're watching this video, do not fall for that. That is a lie. Abortion was designed to destroy the black community. These Democrats are lying to you. Now, I don't know what the situation is in Virginia, but I heard the comment where she was saying about this politician, and she was talking about how he brought over 200,000 jobs to the city, but then all of a sudden, she started talking about the same talking points Democrats already talk about. Health care and minimum wage, raising the minimum wage and all this. The same things that these Democrats talk about, they don't never look at the fact that that's not always applicable. They give these generalizations as if that's all you got to do is snap your finger and do it like this and everything will be all right. But when you raise the minimum wage, what you do is you put other people out of work. Other people that's trying to get work, they won't, the jobs, the employees will stop hiring because they can't afford it. Because you've mandated that they raise the minimum wages. So that's a whole nother story on that. That's a whole nother story dealing with the economy. We're not going to even get into that. But the point is, we need to be more educated. If you're a Christian or if you're a pastor and you're watching this video, educate yourself on history. Educate yourself on the Democratic Party. And I'm just going to right up and say, stop voting for them. She's doing something clearly illegal. Now, if that had been a Republican doing that, all hell would have broke loose. But let a Democrat do it, it's okay. Nobody's going to say anything about it. Nobody's going to say, hey, man, what she's doing, that's illegal. What she's talking about doing, it hasn't happened yet, but what she's talking about doing, that's illegal. Nobody's going to say anything, but I'm going to say something about it on this video. I'm going to expose them for who they are by God's grace. So if you guys got any comments, please leave your comments in the comment section below. What do you think about what I just read to you in this article? What do you think about the cringe video she produced? Let your words be made known. Let's get into a conversation on this. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again on RCB News.